Good morning. David said I had an hour. So please bear with me. Some of it was written in my little, I was small cold. It was written in the booklet, but I may have repeated myself. I'm getting a little late handle. Wheels up. Something he would say when flying off or home. I would say better turn off the phone if you're flying. No, wheels up is what I say when we back up from the gate. Never allow your family to discuss the misuse of words, in my opinion. Well, so when Steve and my relationship, always discussing each other's statements or dealings. We grew up being friends. Plenty of time was spent in each other's homes as kids. Many overnighters. It was fun to be at the Bourne house where Mrs. Bourne would come to the door of the bedroom with her foot deep. Say, boys, wake up, boys.
Thank you.
With a hot chocolate. David and I were classmates. Henry, my brother, and Stephen, classmates as well. How we became best friends is uncertain. When he and my big brother Herbie both lived in the DC area, they were thick as thieves. When they returned to St. Thomas, I guess Steve and I hung out more than Herbie would, although there were times that we all doing stuff together. Convo became a passion for Stephen. I couldn't keep up with him. We played Mass in Trinidad, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, Miami. Well, let's say he played Mass and I photographed him. He would never stop. His energy never failed. Can't say much of his voting ability. Nickname, Captain Crunch. Had to take the wheel from him and show him the right way several times. Me who don't like the ocean. There was only so much we could take. On Brandon Drew's honeymoon, over to the BVI, we were a group of 5 boats. He somehow, by the grace of God, flew over a coral reef, clearly marked out on the map that others went around. Thankfully, we didn't hit any. Tide was high, and Brandon Drew, everybody was waving, just get out of there, but no, Stephen, fair enough. I guess he wanted to beat him to just on like where we were headed. One 4th of July, we rented a boat together. I think I went out with him once. Then he went by himself with his mate at that time, Bunny. He came back and did a perfect approach. Dropped anchor, and we were all staying at the gallows point so I could watch. His mate, Bunny, told him, no, it wasn't right. He moved and re-anchored. Next morning we get up, and Captain Crunch's boat was beached in Cruz State. Brandon had to bring his boat and drag him off. We spent every 4th of July in St. John for the celebration. At least 30, 40 years ago, 30 years. There was a group of us that went every year, close to 12 to 15. We camped at Mahoom first, a few years, and then I said to them, I want a place that has hot and cold running water, air conditioning, and a pool. So David made arrangements for us to stay in 3 villas, which was wonderful. Then we ended up in Gallows Bay, and finally the Westin. By that time, it just boiled down to Stevie and me, most of the time. Lately, just me. And occasionally, he would join me in my 2 or 3 day villa stays in St. John. In St. Thomas, he did Juve and the parade. I opted to stay home for Juve and watch the parade later the next day. He never stopped. One time, I asked him, is his mother ever dropped him on his head? Then I said, wait. I remember when you jumped out the back of your father's El Camino, throwing my weight, and fell on your head when we were coming back from the day at Wimberg with the horses. So he actually dropped himself on your head. Yes, we all learned on the ride with Mr. Monsanto back in the 60s, and the boys started riding on Wimberg, which was much fun, was hard riding. But the Wimberg parties at night could never be discussed. He excelled in his advertising business, which led him to film production as well as fireworks. It became his passion. Many years he enjoyed doing that, and it had to be done his way for sure. Don't even post something about anything he was doing on Facebook as he would scream, take it down, take it down. It was always worth the trouble. We traveled together, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Miami, Tortola. We visited each other over years pretty much when we lived elsewhere during college. I visited in New York several times. One time with Macy's Thanksgiving parade, ended up watching it on TV. Too many people, he said. Went to see the ball drop in New York on New Year's Eve. Guess what? Watched it on TV. Oh well, it's been about 60 years of friendship that can hardly be forgotten. We had our ups and downs, and however, we remained best friends until it happened. Rest in peace, Fresquito. Wheels up. That wasn't our way. Good morning.
My father, Tom and Chris could not be here. They had travels, a journey planned for a long time. So they asked me to share a few words. To all of Stephen's good friends and family, I've been asked to put together some remarks that might be used to outline Steve's many accomplishments and his contribution to the Virgin Islands over his too short career in the field of promoting the VI. I really have no idea where to begin. As it seems to me in looking back, there was no real beginning. Steve just happened. So I will recall a few details of several of his contributions to the MSI family of businesses. One of the best ideas that Steve had was to have MSI sponsor Calypso of the Year award at Carnival. This program was very successful, and I always look forward to the comments of our judges. Sometimes they were not very laudatory, but we had a grand time criticizing the entries. And in time, we got better and better entries. After 10 years, we retired the contest, and you can now see the plaque above the door in our interior show that lists the winners for those 10 years. It was Steve's idea. I'm advocating right now. It was Steve's idea for this program, and it informs for me everything about Steve. Everything he did was about enriching, furthering his love of the Virgin Islands. And he came to us and proposed this because he felt Calypso had lost a little bit of its traction here. And he wanted to see it revive, and that's what drove it. Steve was always on the lookout for events that he felt would sponsor for carnival bands to carnival floats. While all this promotion was going on, there was always Steve sitting in my office at MSI pitching some idea that he had. Again, the ad-libbing. He was always at the office. It just felt like he was part of the family. He was always there. When I come back to college, he was in the office. While all this promotion was going on, there was always Stone. And he created my 50th birthday card, and it was so good I had it framed framed. It's in my father's office this day. I think there may be a copy of it in the booklet. I always enjoyed having him work with us. He'll be greatly missed by all of us. One last point. Stephen loved Juve, and he participated with wild abandon on several occasions that I can remember. The burlap bag clad gang and the flowers one I can still see. He had such enthusiasm for life, and I hope that we can all imitate his love for us all. I will remember my last vision of Steve as he walked to his truck in the Frenchtown parking lot, climbed in, and drove away. I think he climbed in and run his truck. We miss you, but thanks for all the great times and memories. Now I'm going to take this one moment and add a few comments because for me, after the work he did with us at MSI, he went on to do so many things for the Virgin Islands in terms of promotion of the VI. But the fireworks was an all-consuming passion of his, and I felt like my father missed a beat not putting something in there about that. It was always kind of a touch-and-go situation with fireworks. Was it going to happen? Was it not going to happen? Steve always made it happen. Always made it happen. And I was sitting this morning reflecting a little bit about this, and his passing feels for me like that moment after the great finale, that silence that comes after the final burst of fireworks has gone off. Steve had such passion and joy. Everything he did was, I don't want to say for fun, but for fun, for joy, to make it a little bit lighter in our day. So he will be missed by us all. Thank you.
Good morning. I knew Steve Bourne for his entire life. Even though he was 5 years younger than me, we were good friends. Our families were close. Steve's grandmother was my mother's godmother. Steve's mother and my mother were lifelong close friends. When I moved back home, after being away at school and practicing in Washington, it was Steve's mother who gave me a job in her law firm. I helped Steve's older brother, David, attend the law school from which I graduated. Steve's younger brother, Michael, is godfather to my twins. Like I said, our families were close. Steve was his mother's son. Not a mama's boy, but his mother's son. He was built like Edie, walked like Edie, he was smart like Edie, he had her sense of humor and her quick wits, he was pugnacious like Edie was pugnacious, and like his mother, Steve had strongly held views, was not afraid to express them without concern for who could hear him or who might be offended. Stephen shared the love of horseback riding with his brothers. But whereas David and Michael were equestrians, Steve was a cowboy. He rode horses like a daredevil without discipline, challenging himself and his horse to run faster, jump higher, without any concern for the risks he was taking. Steve also was wildly creative. You've heard some about that from Tom and Randy. I got to see that creativity up close in 1986 when Alex Farrelly ran for governor. It was Steve who created the designs for the posters, the t-shirts, and the other material used in Alex's campaign, and he helped to write the campaign ads. He used that creativity to work with Tom and Chris Bruns to develop the very popular MSI Marvel t-shirts. He took his marketing genius into government, and for years was the moving force behind the territory's tourism promotions. Steve also enjoyed a grand party, and for him there was no better party than being in the Gypsy Carnival troupe in the adult parade on Carnival Saturday. I can't remember the number of times Steve and I came up the road together in the carnival troop. However, while I was trying to keep the troop organized for our demonstrations along the parade routes, Steve was always somewhere in the middle of the pack, drinking rum and just having fun. That was Steve, living life on his own terms, and dying on his own terms. He fought until the end, but refused to linger. Like I said, Steve was his mother's son. And what a cruel irony. Just as Edie died of an incurable disease, Alzheimer's, just 7 years later, her son Steve died of an incurable disease, ALS. I can't believe my friend is gone. Too young, still full of life, and still creative. But God called Stephen home because he needed Steve's help to go to market heaven to those of us still here on earth, so that all of us would lead better lives in order to get to heaven where Steve is now. Farewell, my friend, I will miss you.
Good morning, all. Welcome to Stevie's final production. What we have this morning, and what I am going to give you a hint of otherwise, was produced by the man, instructions given, instructions to be followed, and so I'm following. But what I do now, as my tribute to my brother, is unscripted. I want you to sit back, close your eyes, and let the video images of your memories of Stephen roll. And while you're doing that, I'm going to give you a part of some private thoughts that Stephen and I shared. In particular, there was one conversation, just the two of us, where he said, "Why me?" I didn't have an answer. But it raised a much bigger question. Stephen, to give you a little sense of perspective and progression, Stephen left here in the middle of February 2017 this year. And as I put it, Stephen walked to the plane, he carried his own luggage, and he was looking forward to finding what was wrong. He returned at the end of April for the Danish chapel choir. And he had been going through medical testing, but no affirmative diagnosis yet. And many of you may have been astonished to see him on stage with with a cane and a wheelchair. 2 weeks later, I went with him to Johns Hopkins for what would be the diagnosis, May 10th. At that point, when I returned to meet with Stephen, he was on a walker and a wheelchair. June 16th, so May 10th, we had the diagnosis. June 16th, he had a fall. From that date, he never was able to stand or walk on his own. And he had difficulties at that initial time of raising his hand to feed himself. From there, he declined rapidly. Mind you, the diagnosis, on diagnosis day, we were given a substantially longer period of time. Stephen wanted to be and offered to be the poster child, an advocate for ALS, because so little is known about the disease. He wanted to give a sense of hope and a sense of awareness. ALS strikes without warning, and it has no known cause. And so I bring this message to you. ALS can affect any of us. 90% of ALS patients are what are called random. 10% are genetic. The first thing the doctor checked was whether we had a genetic form, because there is at least one other case of ALS in the family, but removed. It also caused a certain amount of anxiety in me. It was not genetic. And so Stephen was in that category, the 90% of people who get ALS for no reason at all. What is ALS? Very vividly described, it's the brain sending out so much electrical charges that it fries the nerve endings. And so the nerves that give the muscles tone or to move, die. So it starts at the extremities, the legs, the feet, the hands, and then it goes to the throat. Swallow, eating, talking, and then finally breathing. Stephen had gotten to that stage. He was having difficulty swallowing, he was having difficulties talking, and difficulties breathing. Stephen and I have often compared his case to the case of Pete Fritz, who you may know as the guy who started the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. To give you a sense of compare, Pete was the former captain of the Boston College baseball team and was a professional baseball player in Europe. He was diagnosed with ALS in March of 2012 at the age of 27. At Boston College, he majored in communication educations in history. He lived on campus and played for the Boston College baseball team and became a captain. During the years in college, he played summer ball in Maryland, Connecticut, and Hawaii. After college, he went to Hamburg, Germany to play baseball in the German Baseball League while coaching German youth. His passions, other than that, included playing, watching, coaching, reading about and talking about sports, travel, and boating. It is believed that Peake's ALS was manifested after he was hit in the wrist by a baseball. Fred has declined since his diagnosis, not as rapidly as Stephen, but now more recently, rapidly. He was last back in the hospital in October. He was in the hospital in June, just about the same time Stephen went to the hospital. And he now speaks through the aid of a ventilator. He breathes through a ventilator. He speaks through a computerized system that utilizes his eyes. And he is active on Twitter and other things. When he started the Ice Bucket Challenge, he, like Stephen, wanted to follow a mission. He raised $220 million in funds for the ALS Foundation and research. The need for research for a cure and a cause is imperative. However, there are dangers in the research that has been done and incomplete research. I give this by way of actual example. Stephen was referred to be a candidate for a drug trial. He was going to enter that drug treatment until we changed clinical settings. Came to find out that this drug that was highly recommended had been tested outside of the United States on 320 people, of which only one had tested positive to the drug. It helped reverse, it helped sustain a level. There is also a need for competence in clinical care. And these two things mesh together in what the ALS Foundation does. I'll come back to that in a minute. Stephen's journey ended very peacefully on his own terms. He's now relieved from all of the pain. Because the strange thing is that while the nerve ends fry, they are perfectly capable of inflicting enormous amounts of pain. So Stephen's death has a certain amount of sadness, but it also has a great amount of happiness and relief. Because, to me, Stephen has taught me, and I'm hoping us, lessons in the following. Courage to face enormous challenges without fear. Proceeding on this journey, knowing where the journey was going to end up, but onwards he went. And in the course of that journey, if you have the opportunity to visit Stephen, you will know that he was at peace with himself, with the journey and with God. He also taught me a very big element of life: forgiveness. Forgiveness that he sought from others for himself, and that he forgave others for things to him. He also taught a sense of thankfulness for the multitude of caregivers and friends who cared and who helped buoy his courage and to ease his pain. Some of the caregivers are listed in the program, but the enormity of the people that helped Stephen, not only with his care, but with visitation, was enormous, was a large group of people. And we thank you. And I know a lot of them are not here. Lastly, something that I was witness to: readiness to transition in peace with himself. Stephen, on Thanksgiving Day, after inviting me to come to DC, and I managed to arrive at about 10:30, we managed to put together what would become his last wish. With the help of Wes's two sons, we did something which the nursing home would not do. We lifted him out of bed, brought him into a wheelchair, brought him out to the driveway, and you know the production. I want to go over there. Oh, the sun's over there, so let's go over there. He then said, very, very, very pointed words, "It's time to go in." So we took him in and put him back in bed, and then he started having breathing issues. Called me over to the side and said, "I want to go." He went to sleep, and 20 minutes later he had passed. Now the incredible thing about this disease is that it doesn't affect the mind. He was totally clear, intelligent, creative to the core, knew what he wanted until those words. And for me to have that experience of his not only saying those words, but seeing him transition so peacefully was an enormous experience. Now, Stephen, as I said, wanted to be a poster child for ALS. He is asked and he encourages that all of us make an effort and a contribution to not only become aware of this disease for your own self-interest, but to contribute to the ALS Foundation to assist in this process. I had an interesting experience yesterday here in this church, in which one of the people helping us with the setup today came up to me and said, "My daughter, who has a couple of children, has just been diagnosed with ALS, and she doesn't know what to do." And so I tried to connect her to the foundation. There are envelopes at the back of the church. There's also an online link in your program. If you feel inclined to contribute, please do so. Now, I said it's a production. in keeping with young Mr. Bourne's request, as Tommy has referenced, and you are all aware, he had a crew of fireworks helpers and people who did incredible shows for various venues around the territory. And in particular, the Carnival fireworks, everybody remembers lighting up the harbor. So, this evening, at 6:30 p.m., we are going to have a private, small fireworks show at Maiden's Bay, at the far western end of the beach, adjacent to the set for Breaking Dawn. You're encouraged to get there by 6:30 so that we can commence the show shortly thereafter, and to bring a flashlight, and to bring a picnic, and enjoy the event, and celebrate Stephen's life. The celebration of Stephen's life will continue with the next event being a memorial in Washington to enable all the people that wanted to celebrate Stephen, but obviously couldn't get there. So January 12th, if you want to be there, or you know somebody and they are stateside and they want to come, January 12th, 2 p.m., Trinity Episcopal Church in Tacoma Park, Washington, D.C. And that's not the end of the production. There will be further events involving Miss Warren thereafter, in February and April. I'll leave you to think about what those are. I thank all of you for the support, the courage that you have given us going through this. It has not been easy. And to my dear brother, wheels up. I don't expect you to text back.